Void War is a game where you can build a spaceship, hire a crew of techno-cultists, gun-wielding paladins, and blood-soaked demonic zealots, and then politely teleport them into someone else's ship to murder their way through the ventilation system. It's very much FTL if FTL had decided that what it really needed was more war crimes, less restraint, and a bit more Warhammer 40k cosplay energy. It's also a game where things frequently catch fire for reasons you don't fully understand. Your best crew member will randomly phase through a wall and suffocate, and you'll start to wonder if the real enemy isn't the demon god you're fighting, but rather the interface itself. Yet somehow, Void War is absolutely brilliant, in the same way that ordering takeaway at 3 AM after 6 pints is brilliant. It's a little shameful, it's full of regret, but it's also weirdly transcendent. Let's start at the beginning. What is this game? On the surface, it's a roguelite spaceship sim in the vein of FTL. You start with a basic ship, a small crew, and a vague goal like get to the end of the map before space hell opens up and devours you. Along the way, you gather scrap, improve your systems, and make a series of increasingly questionable moral decisions involving various alien species, machine cults, and possibly Satan. The game is familiar. If you've touched anything in the spatial management genre in the last decade, you divert power between systems, install weapons in hardpoint, upgrade your shields, and watch your ship burst into flames mid-battle. All very standard. What isn't standard, though, is just how far the game lets you take things. For example, do you like boarding enemy ships in FTL? Well, of course you do. Everyone does. It's the best part. Void War agrees, so much so that it lets you build entire strategies around it. No more limited boarding crews or weird alien restrictions. You can have a full assault team with personal teleporters, assault shuttles, and flamethrowers. Your squad can include a one-eyed heretic with a chainsaw and a jetpack, a cyborg nurse that harvests organs for healing items, and a teleporting robot assassin who speaks exclusively in error messages. And yes, you can crash a boarding pod straight through an enemy wall and immediately begin chainsaw diplomacy. The AI, to be clear, cannot do this. The enemy captains mostly sit in their command rooms praying their airlocks don't open. And yes, you can open their airlocks. It's an actual mechanic. You can smash holes in the ship, let the vacuum do the work, and then beam your people out before everyone freezes. It's very tactical. It's also very evil. There are Geneva Conventions being broken in Void War that don't even exist yet. But while the players can deploy complex layered tactics involving gravity manipulation, environmental hazards, and psychological warfare, the AI mostly plays like it's trying its best at a group project it didn't study for. Enemies will never teleport to your ship. They can retrieve their boarding crews, and they mostly just sit in place until you turn them into meat confetti. This is probably the game's biggest weakness. Once you realise just how powerful you become, there's very little pushback. You stop playing a 10 survival game and start playing Homeworld Demonic Edition. Still, the fun doesn't stop there, though. The setting is where Void War truly throws off shackles of restraint and plunges into the black hole of what if everyone in space was insane and also kinda Catholic. The world, or, well, galaxy, is filled with factions and won't be out of place in a Warhammer fan's secret shrine room. There's the post-human god emperor cult where everyone dresses like Vatican commandos and says things like praise the divine algorithm. There are machine-worshipping priests who staple ram sticks to their skull. There are chaos-worshipping anarchists who think blood is a perfectly reasonable currency, and, because subtlety is for cowards, you can hire a crew from all of them. That's right, you too can have a party made of literal arch-enemies provided you don't mind the occasional backstabbing in the name of ritual purification. What's even more baffling is that this mess works. You can kit your crew out with armor, give them loadouts, train their skills, and mold them into a boarding team worthy of any sci-fi horror movie faction. Each faction also comes with unique perks, quirks, and suicidal tendencies. It's like Pokemon if all your Pokemon were cultists, and you could give them acid grenades. Let's pause here for a moment and talk about the visuals. They're fine. Adequate, functional. If you squint, they look a bit like FTL with extra details. Ships are laid out in rooms, crew members are tiny, occasionally enthusiastic blobs with health bars, and everything turns red when it's on fire, which is often. The UI is readable, but not exactly elegant, and there's a sort of rough around the edges quality to everything. But honestly, that is part of the charm. You don't play Void War for photorealism, you play it because a man named Flesh Pope told you to retrieve a sacred microchip from the remains of a heretic AI, and you need to scrap that upgrade your acid martyrs. Where the game shines visually and narratively is in the emergent storytelling, because much like Oblivion with its weird fish-eyed NPC and chaotic dialogue tree, Void War excels when things go wrong, and they will go wrong. You'll teleport your best fighter into the wrong room and accidentally drop him into a gas chamber full of spore zombies. You'll forget to close the breach in your engine room and watch your engineer get sucked into the void mid-repair. You'll detonate an enemy ship only to realise half your team was still on it. These moments are often tragic, always hilarious, and usually followed by the words, "Why did I do that?" Now, not everything is blood rituals and plasma fire. There's also a story, well, sort of. There are events, decisions, and lore snippets that suggest a greater narrative, but it's not really the focus. You're here for the sandbox, the builds, and the madness. That said, the game does include factions, shrines, side quests, and random events that add texture to the world. Some of them even offer minor rewards depending upon your choices, but the impact is often minimal. The idea of maintaining faction loyalty, for example, feels a bit undercooked. There's no real long-term incentive to stay faithful to any one ideology, and that's a shame. It'd be nice if your blood made lieutenant occasionally praise your decision to Skull God rather than just asking for another shotgun. Still, the world is full of oddities. Stumble across ruined stations filled with corpses and radiation. You board a derelict only to find it's still inhabited by ghosts, rats, or worse. One mission involved tracking a signal to what turned out to be a cursed ice moon run by cannibal AI monks. I do not know if that was a bug or a feature, I do not care. It was still incredible. And this brings us to the most important part. Is Void War actually good? Well, yes, but also no, but mainly yes again. It's a game where it feels like it was designed by a very enthusiastic DM at 3 AM. There's ambition here that frequently outpasses polish. There are moments of sheer brilliance, followed by moments of, why is my ship full of bees? Yeah, I need to work. Yeah, I could use refinement. The faction systems could use more depth, and the difficulty curve once you've mastered boarding strategies drops off a cliff. For all its flaws, Void Wars, as most games, aren't. Memorable. It's chaotic, weirdly funny, full of I can't believe that worked moments, and utterly unafraid to let you break it. It encourages creativity, rewards risk-taking, and revels in its own absurdity. It's not a clean experience, it's not even a fair one, but it is fun. So should you play it? If you like FTL, then yes. If you ever thought FTL would be better with more murder, more customization, and more hearsay, double yes. If you want a smooth, well-balanced tactical sim with AAA polish and hand-holding tutorials, maybe go play Into the Breach again. But if you want to build a spaceship powered by madness, staff with traders, and declare holy war on everyone else in the galaxy while dodging asteroids and summoning demons from the rusty shrine, then Void Wars is your game. Just maybe don't get too attached to your crew, or your ship, or your sense of morality.